So this is a really, I think this is a really important kind of idea that we're playing with today. Paying attention to your thoughts. So some of us, we can hear all sorts of positive things in the course of the day and dismiss it. But when someone says something negative to us, we begin to obsess and believe that it is true. So think about, what might happen, what a person might be thinking if he was happy to earn an 85% on an exam. Probably, if you're like most of my students, you recognize that this person thought that this was, a good grade for the amount of work and study that he had put in. Conversely, what might a person be thinking if he was unhappy to earn 85%? And again, if you're like most of my students, you'd be thinking something like, it's unfair, you asked the wrong kinds of questions. I didn't do as well as I think I should have. And I'm disappointing myself and the people close to me. As you're thinking about this, what you're really doing is paying attention to what's happening here. Our thoughts matter. And we're going back to the ideas or the idea of appraisal focused strategies. So we're going to be trying to attend to and contradict our negative self-talk and think more rationally about what's going on. So typically, what we think is that some sort of activating event causes us to feel a particular way. So we typically think an 85% makes me feel this way. And instead, what I'm going to argue here is that it's not the grade that makes you feel this way, but what you believe. That you believe that an 85% is a good grade or not good grade. And if we pay attention to those things, then we're going to do better. We have the opportunity then to challenge our thinking and to think more rationally and adaptively. So we've talked about the activating event causing your thoughts, which cause your emotions. But really, it affects all of these things. Your thoughts affect your feelings. It affects your behavior. It affects what happens in your body, and vice versa. So for example, if you drink too much coffee in a day, that's going to make you start feeling anxious and maybe somewhat paranoid, and talk too fast. So all of these things are connected. I'm going to be talking about this piece here because it's really the easiest way to change how you're feeling. And if you pay attention to these things and make some changes in them today and work on them throughout the semester, you can make your life a whole lot better. So let's talk about a couple of examples. When I'm working with a client, I often will ask them to be thinking about, about the activating events and their beliefs in situations where they have strong feelings. And that's actually one of the experiential assignments that I've given you for this week. So in this case, the activating event is Marcus is late. And the belief is, What's wrong? When is he coming? Maybe Marcus is upset with me. And the consequence, not surprisingly, is that, this person feels upset and self-doubting, and then behaviorally picks a fight with Marcus when he calls because she's feeling, like he doesn't care. Second example, Dr. Jones asked to speak to me after class, and the belief is, what did I do wrong? I wonder whether she thinks I shouldn't go to graduate school. And if you believe that, you're likely to feel anxious and have difficulty concentrating during class. So let's talk our way through this, because there's some really predictable ways or relationships between activating events, behaviors, and consequence, or beliefs and consequences. So the professor asked to speak to you after class. I did a great job on my paper. Maybe my professor wants to offer me other options in the department. What kinds of consequences would you expect to see here? If you're like most people, probably what you would expect would happen is that the student would be excited, and maybe have difficulty of thinking about other things during class, and go up to see her professor after class. So a range of emotional and behavioral consequences. Here, the professor asked to speak to me after class. The belief is, what did I do wrong? And so what kinds of consequences would you expect? I would bet that this person, again, will be obsessing during class, but maybe obsessing about, and may become anxious, may become afraid, may become paranoid, may believe that that she did something wrong, and maybe even avoid her professor, even though she doesn't know what the problem is. Let's think about another situation. Boyfriend's late, and the person becomes upset and self-doubting, and picks a fight with the boyfriend when he calls. What is this person thinking? So what I'm going to argue is that the beliefs are easily inferred. So we can think about this as mind reading 101. And we want to challenge those beliefs so that they are more adaptive and less extreme. So if you start hearing language like never, always, terrible, awful, no good, very bad, then those are beliefs that need to be challenged. And that's really part of the change process here, that we're going to be working on. Albert Ellis used a lot of humor in his, in trying to challenge thinking. And so here's one example. So if you're happy and you know it, overthink. If you're happy and you know it, overthink. If you're happy and you know it, give your brain a chance to blow it. If you're happy and you know it, overthink. Now, many of you will probably think about this at other points. And if you do, that's a good thing. I hope that you don't spend too much time thinking about my voice. But if you do, that's a good thing, because it's going to get you to remember these ideas and challenge the typical strategy of ruminating, really thinking about something over and over, rather than letting it go. And I certainly hope that you think about things sufficiently to solve problems, but not overthinking. And have a good day. We will be moving on to chapter 5 next week. Take care.